from a relationship point of view.
Hey.
Yeah.
How are boundaries set?
I think the growth in me is in the heat of the moment, I leave it.
So you don't address it?
I wait until the next day.
It's a growth thing.
Yeah.
It is
You know,
a growth thing.
I mean, to de-escalate yourself is a learned trait. You know, but there are things that I feel very strongly about. There are things that trigger me immediately.
Give me an example.
Like a gaslighting thing. Like, no, this glass is half full. You know. And I said, no, but it's my glass. It doesn't matter.
My dad was the quintessential show up for everyone.
Wow.
Take everyone with you, even at the expense of
Let
self.
him down.
So I think I learned that from him. And as I've gotten older, or at least when I first recognized it not serving me, is when I lost my own father. And
showed
I
up.
had an expectation,
Of course.
of people showing up for me in the manner in which had shown up for them. And when I didn't receive it, it hurt so much. What is it that is missing in me that makes me feel like I have to earn love and that people have to earn it back to me? And that's really kind of the journey, the work that I'm doing now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Klink Africa podcast. So good to have you once again. Today's topic is a very interesting one.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to know what it's about?
Tell us.
The boundaries.
Hey.
Oh, no.
Not the brick wall. Boundaries. I think it's an important conversation. It's a conversation we never have. It's a conversation we never give ourselves permission to have.
Yeah.
And this week, I suppose it's not just this week for me, it's been a conversation. I always say to my kids, I say to my sisters, to you guys, you teach people how to treat you.
Yeah.
Because of the boundaries you set or the boundaries you don't set.
Yeah.
I'm keen to hear what that looks like for you, and I'll share my story.
Yeah.
Karabo.
You know, I think it's taken me personally so long to realize what it is that I like and who I am and how whatever I'm receiving is not aligned to who I am, you know. And because I was raised to be, you know, to be a pleaser, you know, behave, you know, don't, you know, listen to your elders, don't answer back, don't do this, don't do that, be a good girl. So it was difficult to have those boundaries, to say, no, I don't like this. No, I'm not going to be a good girl. No, I'm not going to take this, because it was part of my upbringing. So it took time in life to say, no, actually, I don't. And I don't have to. I don't have to be good. I don't have to be obedient. I don't have to.
Yeah.
If it does not align with who I am.
But how did you get there? What was that one thing that said, okay, I need boundaries here?
Because I felt abused. You know, with family, it was always expecting, because they know you are raised to be a good girl,
Right.
they would demand things of you that you would do because you expected to be a good girl. You know, with friends, they know you're giving, so they will continue to take because you give. You know, with romantic relationships, because you're emotionally deficient, you will do anything.
Taking the crumbs.
You will take the crumbs because you want somebody to be
Right.
to like you.
Yeah.
You know, so it's things like that. And as you grow up, you're like, you know, and it's circumstances. I don't think it was a eureka moment. It's just circumstances that force you to realize that whether I'm good or not, this is going to happen to me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to be
Yeah.
hurt.
Yeah, not true. And you, Sebs, what was your one boundary setting moment where you, even when you got home, or maybe let me put it this way, you got home and you thought, I was supposed to set boundaries there?
Google, it's probably every day. And you know it because you keep playing the moment in your mind over and over again. At least I do as an overthinker.
Right.
Whenever a boundary has been crossed or I feel disrespected, I will keep replaying it in my mind over and over again and kind of practicing how I should have responded and didn't have the courage to.
And you get angry with yourself for not having...
Extremely angry with myself. And I think as I've grown older and I've grown to really love myself, you know, we talk about this all the time. I am at a stage in my life where I'm so in love with me. And so much work has gone into that, right? And it's ever evolving. It could get better. I am happier or more comfortable with letting other people down about the ideas of me they hold. Because I think it's important to first honor myself. And I think also after a lifetime of realizing that even with your best, you're still not good enough. And you probably never will be, because the wounded version of you serves so many people.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, it's just really about me. I've come into my, the place where I am happy to be selfish. And I respect that it may hurt or offend people, and I'm okay with that.
I think mine, and I know that my husband and my family will be okay with me sharing this. My boundary setting or boundary discussion happened when I met my husband's ex-wife. We hadn't met, and we were about to get married, and I knew that there was the ex, and I think relations were not very warm between them. And I thought, but why should they not be warm with me? I don't know you, you don't know me. And I plucked up the courage. I said to my husband, I want to meet her.
That's very courageous.
And he said, no.
Very grown up.
and he said, no, you're not doing it. And I said, no, I want to meet her. We're gonna, we're having kids together. Reluctantly, he gave me the number. I texted her. I can imagine how irritated she must have been to receive a text from Mughal.
Audacious.
But she was gracious enough. We met. And you know what I said to her? I said to her, let's set her boundaries. Healthy boundaries between you and I. What would you like? Because this is what I would like.
And her kids were under your care?
Both. I mean, there were visitation, moving between. But I just felt that a boundary setting between her and I was going to empower the kids. And I said to her, be selfish.
So refreshing.
Be selfish. And that built a friendship that still stands today.
That is beautiful.
Yeah. So that was an example for me of a positive boundary setting. Because I think people always assume that when you say setting boundaries, it's got a negative connotation. Sometimes setting boundaries is from a positive point of view, not necessarily setting boundaries. It's setting boundaries because you want to build.
But isn't it about women that we always think of disrespect with the other woman?
True.
We don't think of it as building, especially when you have children, to show them a positive relationship that adults can have. We always think this is kind of thing. Like,
but you know, Kari, they say African women are probably the most disrespected group of people on earth.
They are.
And we're so scared to raise it with family, with romantic partners, in the workplace, with business partners, that the one place we think, yes, is with another black girl. We're like, what?
That is actually so true.
You know, everywhere else you know how to check yourself and, set, but when it comes to another black woman, that's when we just feel like, you can go crazy, which is not a great thing.
But are we able to give people feedback? Because that's where I find...
Expand. What do you mean?
Yeah, so I have a problem with coming to you, Google, and say, I didn't like what you did. I think you overstepped my boundaries. I'll simply walk away.
Shut the door.
I'll keep a distance, especially in friendships. Friendships, to debrief and say, this is why we're not friends anymore. This is why I think you do not work in my world anymore, right? Because you've probably overstepped a boundary, or I've grown and I no longer identify.
And what are you scared of? I mean, I
don't know. I'm a coward like that. Like, I think in romantic relationships you debrief.
Right.
If it doesn't work, somebody will tell the other why it's not working. But in friendships,
don't you think that's why friendships end though?
Yeah.
Because in the evolution of human beings, we're going to change. We're going to start liking different things. We're gonna hold each other back.
Yeah,
But it's probably that fact that we don't give each other feedback.
No, so I don't grow as a
You know what I
result,
mean?
so I don't know why
Yeah,
we no longer
yeah,
friends.
yeah.
So what
vice
you do
versa.
is we probably stop spending time with each other, stop responding, and then it kind of gets weird and awkward.
Yeah.
Instead of saying like it's
This does not
Yeah,
serve
or this
me.
is the boundary. Like,
Yeah.
don't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean our friendship has to
Yeah,
end.
yeah,
yeah.
But I feel like as girls, we don't do that for
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
in family, has it been easy to set boundaries?
No, for me, my experience was that because I lost both my parents, and I feel like, and I'm sorry if it comes wrong to my family, that I feel like I needed to earn the love of my extended family. Therefore, I needed to do things that earn
Their
that's beautiful. Hey?
and it came across as abusive to me, and I thought about it. I'm like, and this is where we could potentially interpret black tax.
True.
Right? Because then people come for you, come looking for support, and then you are overburdened and you believe it's your duty because of black tax. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I don't remember any particular, investment that warrants me having to.
This return.
This
Yeah,
return that
this
you have
request for return,
expectation from me.
So
Yeah.
and I realized that we also have enabled it.
Yeah.
My mom enabled it, I enabled it, my cousin enabled it. We are never broke. We are always willing to help. We're always, I'm like, no, can I be broke?
And
Can
I
I
suppose,
also not have bread?
and I suppose when you say not having a mom, not having a dad, and you're thinking, okay, so is this the only way you relate to me?
Yes.
Hey.
Yes. So I set the boundary by saying no.
Because no is a statement.
Yeah, it was painful for me at first.
Yeah.
I used to have like a hard time, anxiety about it. But it brought me peace.
Yeah.
Sure.
And you?
I mean, I honestly think I have learned a lot of my boundary-less traits from my dad.
Oh.
He was, and listen to this. My dad was the quintessential show up for everyone.
Wow.
Take everyone with you, even at the expense of
Let
self.
him down. So.
And in my dad's older years, I just found him lonesome. So I think in the absence of my mom, I don't think he had a crowd around him.
And yet he was everybody's.
Everyone's go-to guy. And that's why I was extremely protective, still am, of his legacy and of the person. And as I've gotten older, so I think I learned that from him. Like, you show up with everything, and Gary knows I am the show up girl. We're gonna show up. I'm gonna out everybody with everything, with support, with whatever means I can. And as I've gotten older, or at least when I first recognized it not serving me, is when I lost my own father. And
showed
I
up.
had an expectation,
Of course.
of people showing up for me in the manner in which had shown up for them. And when I didn't receive it, it hurt so much. But when I sat in therapy, I realized the issue was me. I created an expectation that had nothing to do with other people. So
And how they show up for you.
I had to own that bit and start to look internally at what is it that is missing in me that makes me feel like I have to earn love and that people have to earn it back to me. And that's really kind of the journey, the work that I'm doing now, to say when I just don't feel like I want to show up without an explanation, I don't.
My boundary setting from a family point of view also similarly came through when my mom passed. And I remember when we were having, cause I'm an only child now because my brother passed, and I remember being given dates that the funeral should be on a Friday, on a Saturday, and I wanted it on a Thursday because I didn't want this long African waiting thing. And I remember going to my therapist and her asking me, So are you needing financial assistance from all these people that are giving you dates? Are they going to help you bury your mom? Like, what's the story about? And all of my answers were no. So she said, send a text. Funeral's on a Thursday. If you're there, great.
Yeah.
If you're not,
I
great.
understand.
I understand.
Yeah.
I felt so empowered.
Yeah.
That was my first family boundary setting.
And the
because-
anxiety that came with it?
No, I
No,
felt
none.
relieved, Karabo.
Oh, wow.
When I was texting to say funeral is on a Thursday, period.
And you've never looked back?
No. I mean, and those that could come came.
Yeah.
Because it's also not a show. It's if you can make it, lovely. But if you can't, it's understandable.
Absolutely.
You know, and you guys are professional women, so boundaries at work, and also I find that from a professional point of view, we tend to slack a bit. That's where we second guess ourselves in saying, okay, that will not work. I actually saw you setting a boundary the other day. in the now time,
Hey, clink to that.
So what does it take for you to get to that boundary setting at work?
You know, at work, I've never had a problem with boundary setting.
Yeah.
I think because I've always been assertive. You know, I had a strong mom. The kind of educational background that I have allowed me to just be bold.
Right.
So I've never had an issue, and I've had an issue with chauvinism in the workplace, you know, this patriarchy thing. So I've always fought it like firmly.
Yeah.
And I've always led with my brain.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm smart.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
You know, so I never doubted. You know, so I take you. You know,
Okay.
and in a way, it was militant, right?
Yeah.
So I never allowed you to define me. And I found myself in places where I am less adequate and I was uncomfortable, so I removed myself. Even if it means I'm not going to have a job, I'm not going to show up as lesser than me in that environment. Therefore, allowing you to abuse me.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
And
that's
so
amazing.
there have been moments where, I mean, you're not winning at it all the time, but I don't let it linger.
Yeah.
If it's uncomfortable for me, and that's why it was important to have a very independent professional life.
Yeah.
So that I'm not beholden to
Correct.
one entity that
Correct.
determines
Hey.
what I'm gonna earn, when I'm gonna earn it. Now we fight for bonuses. I've worked the whole year.
Yeah.
I still have to pay why, you know. So I've designed my life so that I don't have to get
Yeah. And it's refreshing. We'll go.
Guys, here's a twist to the boundary. I have had to learn, probably in the last, 6 years, that I have a resting.
You do.
You do. And so you would know that the fight is coming before it shows up at you. And I was, Gugu, do you know that I was never aware of it? Ever. It was while I was CEO at an entity, during a review that my chairperson said, and
then
Your
what's
face.
up with what's
You
up
gotta
with that?
fix my face. Because I was hurt. I said, my face. Like, of all the things, she couldn't tear down the work, the performance,
Like
But she
you're
had to
gonna
say,
focus on the face.
And I thought, you're gonna focus on, and I couldn't stop thinking,
What
if I was another,
if I was male?
if I was male, would you pick at my face? But also, then I had to look at my face and realize, but I do.
But what is
I
this
do
about?
have a
But
resting.
can I ask something? Why are we so quick to attach labels on ourselves?
But for me, I think, okay, so the label was a problem that somebody had attached to me, especially about something that I didn't own. If anyone had said to me resting, I would have said, yeah, people must get on with it. And I honestly never thought I had a, but then I've come to the point where, like, it's genetics, guys. What must I do?
What must I do with
Like,
it?
like, this is what these are the genes, these are the chromosomes that need to be done.
Yeah, I don't rehearse this.
It's
and
like going
just
on it's like saying I don't like my skin tone.
Yeah.
This is how I look.
I
So
don't
now I
remove
own
it.
how I look. Now what I do when I get in, especially when I'm concentrating,
Right.
and in the era of teams, I kind of warn people ahead. Don't mind the. I don't mean anything.
Is that that's another boundary setting?
Yeah,
to
that's
say-
a disclaimer. I
Yeah,
say
it's a
up front, I'm
disclaimer.
listening when I'm really focusing. It's going to look like I'm really mad. I'm just focusing.
So please may I ask from relationship point of view.
Hey.
Yeah.
How are boundaries set
Yeah.
for you, Sebs?
But it feels like it's taken a lifetime to one, again, I'm going to keep saying the same thing, own who I am and what I like and don't like. I've heard so many lectures. You know, if you want to be successful in a relationship, you must. You know, girl must be nice and be soft, Sebs, and don't shout back and don't flare, don't always. No. I failed at all of those things. I now do me.
Yeah.
So in keeping with teaching people how to treat you,
Yeah.
I honestly believe, and if it doesn't sit well with me, I think the growth in me is before I'd say what, and then it would escalate, right? And I've grown enough, or I've grown to a point where, in the moment, in the heat of the moment, I leave it.
So you don't address it.
I don't. If it's already heated, or if I feel extremely riled up emotionally, I don't address it. If I don't, I can. But usually I wait until the next day when I'm no longer riled
up as you, yeah.
And I like it in a very relaxed setting. Let's go out for coffee or a drink. With a smile on my face, I'm going to say, you're not going to do that. And this is how it displeases me. And it doesn't have, you don't have to understand it, but you have to respect how it makes me feel. And if it's important to me, I expect it to be important to you. And that's how I'm choosing to honor myself.
Madame.
I think it's a growth thing.
Yeah.
It is
You know,
a growth.
I mean, to get to a point where you calm down and you
At the moment.
you know you are
De-escalate
able
yourself.
to de-escalate yourself is a learned trait, you know. But there are things that I feel very strongly about. There are things that trigger me immediately, and I've learned to address them then.
Yeah.
And I
But
feel
in what
in a
mood?
stern way.
Okay.
In a stern way.
Give me an example.
For instance, I don't know, like a gaslighting thing, like, no, this glass is half full, you know. And I said, no, but it's my glass. It doesn't matter. You know, it's mine. And I know I've received feedback that, you know, you tend to be harsh and you're not soft and whatever. And it's something I probably have to learn. But for me, it's an important issue that you need to understand. It doesn't cut it.
But maybe not learn. A different question that I'm going to ask you, is it working for you? Because if it's working for you, then great. But if it's not giving you the results that you'd like, then review it.
Yeah, but I always say that I think it's important to also learn who you're dealing with, to know that it's not coming from any other place except the place where they're certain themselves.
Right.
Yes, I'm learning. It probably doesn't have to be that immediate. It doesn't have to be that harsh. You know, I'm learning that, but it doesn't take away the fact that when I said it, it was important.
Yes.
But then again, you know, it talks to the healing, right? That I mean, my first instinct is to protect myself.
Yes.
So I'm probably building a wall that comes through as militant when I could have been softer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm also learning.
I like that you're talking about the softness, because it's the one place that we don't give ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about boundary setting for work, relationships, family.
So. Yeah. With
Boundary.
We're getting the crumbs.
We're getting but who's giving?
We are.
Right?
Yeah.
And where did we learn that from? That it's okay to give me crumbs, but I can't give Vusi over there crumbs. What?
It's a learned, and I'm glad we touched on the issue of therapy, which I think, you know, it's a conversation for another day, where we really need to understand that it's important for us to know ourselves. No matter how painful it is, no matter how deep it goes, because it's only then that you realize what it is that you're about and what you don't tolerate. And none of us let these boundaries slip through, because I don't know that it's a boundary.
And the thing is, if you don't set the boundary, somebody else is going to set
Yeah,
it for you.
I don't even know that it's a boundary setting moment. I let you walk all over me because I haven't been to myself.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I'll tell you what, I think another gift for me has been, and people don't understand how strongly I feel about my friends. I feel very strongly about my friends because I have very few. Maybe there's 2 or 3 if I'm lucky. But I feel like when I found my friends, really found my friends in the evolution of adulthood, I found my tribe.
Oh, love that.
And I feel like I'm a weird, awkward, kind of was always trying to fit in all my life.
Really? You don't come across like that at all?
Ways, Google. I have always been trying to fit in. And I stopped trying to fit in and then found people that were kind of my own version of weird and out there. And we found each other.
Yeah.
And what I see in myself, I see in them, and they see it in me. So it's kind of given me permission to be more of myself.
Yeah.
So, when I see Kari setting a boundary, another friend setting a boundary, I go, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That sounds about right. And I think that's also the work, especially in women friendships. When we don't do the work in ourselves, you're always going to be bumping into people that make you question you. But I'm so clear about who I am.
Right.
And the people that get me, there may only be 3 of them, but they really get me.
Yeah.
And I don't need a crowd
Yeah.
to
And there's
get
nothing
me.
as powerful
Oh.
as when somebody
But
gets
that
you.
also goes to the romantic partners that you choose, right? And it's getting to a point where you choose.
Yeah.
You know, we also come from an environment where you have to be sheltered.
Yeah.
Somebody
Waiting.
And be patient. It will come.
Yeah.
So you'll get whatever.
Yeah.
You know, versus you choosing.
You're
who it is.
choosing.
Yeah.
So the boundary setting is already set because you chose what you're gonna be settling or interested in. So
I think my people pleasing journey comes from being a recovering people pleaser. I so love that I'm recovering.
Oh.
yes.
We're going to help you recover further.
Recovering, because I don't think I'll ever get to recover it because it's a continuous journey. And I love that it's that journey for me, that, evolution of recovering.
Yeah.
And people pleasing is a disease.
yeah.
It is a
It is
disease.
a condition.
And it can't be satisfied,
No,
right?
no.
Because every day somebody's expecting something of you.
Yeah.
And when you choose them, you're getting the knowledge.
and you also don't know what it is that they're looking for.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
whatever,
You're trying to figure out what it is that you can. And
I heard something or saw something on Instagram 2 days ago that was so sobering for me. It said the romantic partners that we choose as women are a reflection of how much we love ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I'll cheers to that.
me too.
I will clink to that.
Klink.
Absolutely. And I was like, why is no one telling teenage girls that?
Now we are.
Now we are. And what are we telling them? Because that's another boundary, our children. What are we telling them? Our parents didn't tell us. My mom didn't tell me anything about boundary setting.
I think if it doesn't sit well and it doesn't feel good in your soul, then it's not. I mean, someone said this to me, and I say to my kids that whenever you're in a bind, you take a deep breath, and if it doesn't come from the gut,
Then don't.
let the gut guide. Learn to be guided by your gut.
Absolutely.
The gut feel of it, and we can. I don't know. For me, it's a start.
Let's start.
You're
Let's
beyond,
start somewhere.
beyond that, and also don't judge as well.
Yeah.
Because then you're also trampling on somebody else's boundary. Do you be a godly child, but be careful that you also don't trample on other people.
I'm loving the fact that we recognize that boundary setting is not that combative language. It's because boundary setting, like in my experience, was a positive journey. I wanted her to tell me what her boundary setting values were.
So we can all respect each other and
so that we
coexist.
can all coexist. I needed her to know mine. And in getting to that place, we've raised these amazing kids that are fulfilled.
So beautiful, Gugu, but also you don't have to own, because that's what we do, right? You don't only own your monkeys, you bring the whole zoo along with you. You only are responsible for your bit.
Yeah.
How somebody else receives it. If I cross Gari's boundary and she says to me, Sabzi, no,
Yeah, and no
then
further.
she has honored Karabo. And what I need to do has nothing to do with her. But often we still, once we've closed the door, we're opening the window
to see.
kind of see,
Yeah.
and that's also the unveiling that we need to continue to do.
Yeah. It's an important journey.
Yeah.
I think the most difficult one, from what I've heard you ladies say, the most difficult one is probably family, because there are so many gray areas where
And the African child.
the African child
The African child
that has to
the
continuously
socialization, the conditioning. It's hard.
So for me, what I've heard from you guys is the family one. It's a tricky one because that's your base, right? There's the one of self is very important because for whatever reason, being African females, what we tend to do, we give to everybody else but ourselves. And the romantic one.
And I think romantic would clap. I get we define that we are now choosing.
Not waiting, not attached to the wall.
So that's one we've kind of uppercutted.
Would you say you've always known that, or you know that now?
No, I'm learning, and every day. I think for me, the reason why you're in relationships is to also know yourself.
Yeah.
A part of yourself.
Yeah.
So, and to extend grace, right? We're gonna fumble, we're gonna fail, we're gonna, if it's all in the spirit of learning.
As long as you continue to learn and figure out.
Absolutely.
Ooh, boundary setting. Ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to hearing feedback. Guys, we'd like to hear how you navigate your boundaries.
Yes.
What is it that you do? What is it that you say? Family members, your partner, your friends, your children.
Yeah.
But most importantly, yourself. So please join us again in our next episode.
And like and subscribe.
Klink Podcast Africa. We look forward to seeing you.
Cheers.
Cheers.